In my last few videos, I've been sticking in the occasional clip from old video game ads. It's got me thinking about some of my favorites. Nintendo is often seen as the colorful, kid-friendly video game company. While plenty of their advertising reflects that, it's interesting just how much of their marketing seems to be deliberately striking a darker, more mature tone. There were the weirdly dramatic playing with power ads of the 80s. These morphed into playing with superpower when the Super Nintendo arrived.
Now you're playing with power, superpower.
A lot of early Super Nintendo ads kept this serious tone. When Sega started their kind of insulting "Genesis does what Nintendo don't" ads,
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
What Nintendo don't.
Nintendo responded with the grungy punk rock "Play It Loud" ad campaign. For all those kids who were too cool and because you just don't get it, Mom. I think Nintendo going weird and dark with their ads sometimes really worked.
Just a reminder, 72 hours remaining until the end of the world.
Probably the best example of this is their campaign for Zelda, Majora's Mask. In the game, Link has only 3 days to save the world before the moon falls from the sky and destroys everything. The world of Majora's Mask was tonally pretty different from previous games in the franchise. It had a much darker, creepier feel to it. They ran a series of ads showing people in the real world preparing for the world's destruction. In each ad, a timer ticks closer to the end. The ads are narrated by a DJ on some sort of pirate radio station.
You've been tuned into Radio Zelda.
A weird element is that there's apparently a real person playing the video game, and everyone is acting like if he can beat the game, then he's going to save everyone in the real world. So a lot of the narration is people encouraging this unknown gamer or speculating on if he'll win.
He's almost got it.
As the timer reaches the last hour, some people panic and cry, while others seem resigned to their fate.
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead. We're listening.
I just...
Believe in the boy.
Mom, I love you. And Dad, I miss you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Honestly, I think this completely works.
Hey, kid.
It's memorable, it gets across the tone and feel of the game.
So if you're listening,
I don't think anybody saw these ads and thought they were getting just
I know you got
yet
the weight of the
another
world on
Zelda
your
game.
shoulders.
Hey man, what's going on?
Waiting for the moon to drop.
Don't forget, it's all about the weight of the moon.
Do you believe in angels?
This has been a broadcast of Radio Zelda. Good night, kid.
But what I really want to talk about is a series of ads that aired in 2004. This was around the time that most of the world was seeing the "Who are you?" line of ads. But for some reason, Canada also got a short-lived ad campaign called Too Much Fun. It's hard to find a lot of information on it, but I'm pretty sure these ads ran only in Canada. If you're living somewhere else in the early 2000s and you saw them, please let me know because I'm curious what sort of reach these ads had. Let's start with the least weird one and work our way up.
You know, we do what we can, but it's a never-ending supply. We stop one, Japan sends 3 more. It's a battle we just can't win. Player's choice. 40 premium titles, just $29.95 a hit, including Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, rated E to teen. These kids don't stand a chance.
Okay, so you get the main idea. The Too Much Fun campaign advertised Nintendo by comparing it to a dangerous, addictive drug, which is certainly a creative way of marketing a product. Now, I'm sure it's not the first ad campaign that tried some reverse psychology. I get the logic of exaggerating how much fun the games are to an extreme degree, but I do think it's an odd choice when there were plenty of people out there who were seriously criticizing what they felt was the addictive nature of some video games. This one might be a little weird, but you're probably saying it's not really that strange. So let's move on to the next one.
Sunny was always so happy.
The next ad gets a little more personal. These parents talk about how their once happy, successful son is falling in with the wrong crowd, staying out late, and so on. And then the punchline.
I heard him talking to his friends about
mushrooms.
When we were kids, we didn't even know what Nintendo was. Sorry.
Again, it's mostly silly. There's some echoes of the classic, parents just don't get it, dude, attitude of the 90s. I know we've all heard the Mario mushrooms are like drugs joke hundreds of times growing up, but it's weird to hear Nintendo themselves make that joke, right? Nintendo's famous for their harsh censorship of anything that anybody could object to. Every fantasy tavern in a Nintendo game is rebranded as a cafe. So it's pretty weird for them to turn around and go, LOL, our games are so addictive, your parents will think you're on drugs. The next one turns it up a little more. I'm going to see if YouTube will let me just run the whole thing start to finish, and then we'll talk about it after.
Yeah, I knew Mike. We used to hang out a lot. I was with him the first time he tried it. It was his birthday. I feel like it's my fault. I'm the one who bought it for him.
This year, millions of people will lose loved ones to Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, rated T for teen.
It just seems weird to me to have a series of video game ads that mostly end with someone sobbing over the loss of a loved one. This one even comes back from the gameplay footage to get in an extra second of crying time. I remember being totally caught off guard by this ad. It just so perfectly captured the style and tone of a lot of anti-drug ads that were going around at the time.
Some kids think smoking weed makes you cool. What about those who think you already are?
It also just felt a little more real to me. Like the other one, it was an out-of-touch parent who didn't really understand what Nintendo was. But this is a young person sad that she doesn't see her friend anymore, which I think made it seem just a little more shocking. Before we get to the final ad of the series, I want to talk about the non-TV part of this campaign. I didn't come across much in the way of magazine ads for this campaign, just this one, which again, looks very much like an anti-drug ad. It's a shame there aren't more because Nintendo print ads were going through their own insane phase around this time, especially the DS Touching is Good campaign. As part of this campaign, they made a website that tied in the TV ads. TooMuchFun.ca is long dead, but you can still see some of it via the Wayback Machine. Weirdly, it presented itself as the website of the MOFS, or Ministry of Fun Suppression, a fictional organization dedicated to preventing a medical condition they called TFM, or Too Much Fun. A lot of the website doesn't really work anymore, but you can still see maps showing the areas with the highest threat levels of fun, as well as coordinates that put them at Nintendo's Canadian headquarters. They had tips for avoiding TMF and lists of new Nintendo games that were too much fun to play. They also had a sort of most wanted list of people that they were trying to track down as they were dangerous vectors spreading TMF to others. Some of these fictional people had their own websites that were written in character. It was actually a fairly elaborate campaign for something that I don't think actually ran for very long. So let's look at the very last ad that was part of this campaign. Sorry in advance for the low quality. This was literally the only copy of it I could find.
I wasn't always like this. I had pretty typical interests, ambitions. That was before I discovered Nintendo. I'm sure I could stop if I really wanted to. But for now, I'm just living my life, one game at a time.
This is the one that I really remember, and I'm sure it was on TV more than any of the others. I just don't really get what they were going for with this one. The others were still jokes, in the sense that there is no real harm. The worried parents and the sad friend didn't actually lose their loved ones, they were just a little more busy playing Nintendo. But here Nintendo just straight up ruined this guy's life. They even show his yearbook where he was a driven teenager destined for success before trying Nintendo. Now he's living on the streets, stealing electricity. And it's not like he's a cartoon hobo with a bindle or like a guy wearing a barrel. He is a realistic, sad man begging on the side of the road and pushing around a shopping cart full of N64 controllers. To be clear, I've always loved these ads. A big part of this video is just me wanting to share them with more people. But I do think they're an utterly bizarre choice for marketing a video game. Around this time was when people really started to seriously talk about the idea of video game addiction. There was all these news stories of people who had ruined their lives from playing EverQuest too much. It was starting to pop up on daytime talk shows.
I think that I'm just not motivated to do anything in the real world anymore.
So to release a series of ads basically saying, yeah, our stuff is actually super addictive, this guy's even homeless now, that's how much fun they are, is just such a brazen move that I can only salute the courage of whoever decided to go through with it. In the end, I guess they made the right call, because I didn't actually find much evidence that anyone really cared or got upset about this. I don't think the ads were on TV super long, but it doesn't look like they were pulled early or anything. I couldn't find news stories about angry parents or anybody responding negatively. I think they just kind of slipped under the radar, possibly since they were running in a smaller market. I was able to find most of the Too Much Fun videos on an archive copy of an internal Nintendo of Canada DVD that was showcasing upcoming game trailers and advertising. The final video with the homeless gamer isn't on it. Maybe it was made later and wasn't ready for the DVD, or maybe there was some uncertainty about airing it and it was deliberately excluded. I have no way of knowing. Today they are all but forgotten. The campaign sometimes gets a passing mention in articles about Nintendo and their advertising, but that's about it. So that's where we're going to leave it for today. What'd you think? Did you suddenly feel like playing some Metroid Prime or Zelda Wind Waker? Or do these make you want to put down the controller for a bit? Do you have a favorite old game ad? Let's hear about it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.